Ditto. Let's go. Here we go. Go ahead. What's up, all my fishy friends out there, and welcome back to another Stay Fishy adventure. Today, we're going on a beach trip. We're headed west towards the Pacific Ocean, and tonight is a clam dig. And if some of you may have never heard of that before, we have a really cool kind of clam out here in the Pacific Northwest that lives in the sandy bottoms of the ocean, and it's called a razor clam. We have a lot of adventures planned for today, but one thing is for certain, we're going to the beach, it's sunny, and we're gonna eat some amazing food and have some adventures along the way. So stick with us, it's gonna be an awesome day, and thank you so much for being here, everybody. Of course, one stop before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Bob's Sporting Goods. We're gonna need a little bit of tackle for what we're gonna do tomorrow afternoon after we clam dig tonight. So got a lot of cool plans, and you guys, I'm not gonna tell you about them until we do it, because that wouldn't be very exciting. So let's get in here, let's get what we need, let's get on the road. What are these? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. We're gonna need a couple of those. Gonna need a couple of those. It is so hard to find pickled quail eggs, but I just found them. Oh my God, these things are my most favorite treat in the entire world. I did not expect to see that coming in here. So let's see here. These are kind of heavy. Let's go with this one here. 4 of those.
You all right?
Yes, sir. Just need some lasers.
Ooh, I'm
right?
putting them out right now.
Sweet. What do you think, man? How big do I go?
What are you going for?
Off the jetty.
Off the jetty. You could probably like those 4s or 3s, I think. Unless that current's really kicking. I don't know. Well, you know, bigger the bait, bigger the fish.
Right?
You know?
Faster the snag, I
go
always
bigger,
say.
go home, man.
All right. Let's get a couple of the classics. Oops.
I've done that about 10 times.
Right? All right. Have a good one, dude.
Oh, yeah, most of you too, sir.
And did we find everything okay?
Even more than we needed
That's how we get you.
with the quail eggs. Goodness gracious. Well, that just made my day. We're gonna have to try these things right out the gate. We're going with the jalapenos. Oh, and I don't know, let's see some comments below. Some of you probably think I'm gross, but pickled eggs are amazing, and especially when they're in these bite-sized little morsels. That is the quail egg. Oh yeah, uh-huh. This is happening. Look at that cute little thing. What the F? Look at how amazing those are. I'm in heaven. All right, on the road. Onward. Smell it. Adventure. The ocean. You smell that? Oh yeah, it smells good. It smells good. Oh, a rainbow. Look everybody, we're starting the day out with a rainbow. Well, we are almost there, everybody. We are down to the coast. The weather is fair to moderate. Looks a little nasty out there, but the interesting thing about these clam digs, and especially in the winter time, is you can only dig at night when these low tides. It has to be a minus tide. So the way the tides work is it flushes in and out in 12-hour periods throughout the day. So the high tide comes in and it flushes out and it exposes all of these clams, which is, we'll talk about more when we get out there. But we're gonna be doing this in the dark, which makes it really interesting and really almost eerie because you have the ocean right there crashing and you're right in the surf. So I'm really excited. We're gonna try to find our campsite. Once again, typical truck camping expedition. We have no clue where we're going. I have an idea. I wanna be on the beach. I wanna be in a place that I can see the ocean, smell the ocean, feel the ocean. So first things first, we gotta get there. Let's find a camp. Let's get some food made. Let's go clamming. Home sweet home. This is living, everybody. Pretty cool little scene going down here. You see this Coast Guard helicopter. Looks like it's rescuing some people off of these rocks here, which is really neat. I'm gonna sit and watch this for a minute, but this is where we're living for the next 2 days. I used to complain, and if I did, who would listen, right? This is so beautiful. We were told that the clamming right here where we're camped can be super, super good. I'm liking doing it all by myself here. Normally when you come down and razor clam in this area, you're doing it with a lot of people. The whole beach is full of people. Everybody's out there with their families, having fun, having a good time, getting some dinner. And I'm actually pretty stoked to be out here all by myself and trying this. So I'm gonna walk down to the surf, see if there's any signs of life. I heard it was really good clamming, so I want to see it for myself. But we're here, I'm happy, the sun is shining, and it's a beautiful day. Woohoo! There it is, there's our first sign. There's our first one right there. Stomp on the ground right next to that thing. You see this little dimple that's created. And that is a razor clam showing himself. And why that's happening again is because he's trying to dig himself down and pull himself down into that receding water. So that's cool. That's a good sign. We're still 2 hours from the dig and we're already seeing some clams. So I think we're in the right spot. And we're getting run off. Run away, Tiny! Run away! Run away! Awesome. There's signs of life out here. There's signs of clam chowder in the midst. Well, surely not a shock to anybody. I've decided to neglect all the responsibility of building camp and go clamming. The tide is perfect. Everything's looking good out there. I think it's time we go out there and get our harvest in, and then we'll have fun in camp. So I got a really, really cool recipe. This trip is all about seafood. I'm gonna do one of my very favorite burger recipes. We're gonna have to wait and see what that one's all about tonight for dinner. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna use these clams to make a gourmet little bit of a dish. I think you guys are really gonna like it. So I'm gonna get geared up, grab my gun, grab my bucket, and go get me some clam. No way! It's Scuba Steve! Oh, there's one right out the gate. That looks like a boss hog of a clam there. Now the key here, the real important key to doing this is to not break the clam. You don't want to kill the clam before you get to eat the clam. So I do that first scoop a little shallow, second scoop a little deeper, and there it is! Oh, ow, ow! That's called a first cast magic right there. Perfect little guy. Let's go wash him off and show you guys what we got here. Well, there it is, a razor clam, and I actually did break that one. So we're still gonna keep it though. Oh, look out! Run away! Run away! It's okay, little, it's okay. Don't panic, don't panic, nobody panic. First one in the bucket. I'm not gonna probably keep my whole limit here. The limit of clams, I believe, I think it's 12. Correct me if I'm wrong below in the comments. It's 12 or 15, but I'm probably only gonna keep a 10 or so, honestly, because I really don't need that many for my recipe. So first one in the bucket. This is looking good. So one thing I can already tell is kind of a strategy here is to walk with like the proper glare on the sand so you can actually see these things from a distance popping up. Oh, there's one right there. See, this is what I mean, right here. That was a long range spot. Kind of point that gun a little bit towards the actual, oh, crushed him. Darn it, that's not what we wanted. I'm gonna go a little shallower here. Uh-oh, I lost him. That was a swing and a miss. Oh, there he is. Got him. We salvaged the operation. Beautiful. Clam number 2. And they call these things razor clams for a very good reason. A lot of times, I've actually tried to dig these by hands before in Alaska on one of our addicted videos, and I cut the heck out of myself. The edge of these shells are extremely razor sharp. So be careful, especially if you bust one like this. I'm not a pro right now. I need to work up the pro status here this afternoon. But you try not to bust them like this, because when you go to clean these things, which we'll show you in the morning, because we're gonna let these things soak overnight to get all the sand out of them. But when we go to clean them, you don't want all these shells floating around in all the meat. So do our best to not break another one. But clam number 2 in the bucket. Oh, here we go. Landed on a gold mine. We are in Clam City, everybody. Clam City, everybody. There he is! Oh, he's got a big old boot on him. That's a size 12 boot. Beautiful, real consistent size on him too. Oh goodness, we're right back into him. No time for talking, everybody, no time for talking. We are in Clam Town right now. Ooh, that's a good show right there. I'm going in. There he is, I got him. You can run, but you can't hide, Mr. Clam. Ow! Little's loving it. Clam number 4 in the bucket. Where are you? Oh, there's one. He tried to run, but he can't hide. Oh God, I missed him. Swing and a miss on strike 1. I think we got him with strike 2. No, he's still on the, oh, there he is, okay. Thought he was still on the loose. Really pretty one. I'm getting a little more pro. I'm getting a little more clam pro here. Got him. Woo! That was a crafty little bugger. Whew. Don't let the tranquility of the beach fool you guys. This is a fast-paced sport. High impact. Adrenaline filled. It is actually kind of funny though. It just goes to show how fun and how, oh, it's a hog! That's a trophy! Look at him, Littles. That is a trophy clam if I've ever seen one. Holy smokes. Ow! We've lost camera guy number 1. Camera guy number 1 is down. He is saturated and wet, and he is headed in for repair. But I think I can get this done all by myself. I'm a lone ranger now, out here in this deadly sand flat. But I only need a couple more. Really, I don't need a ton of clams for my recipe that I'm gonna do tomorrow, so I'm gonna find a couple more good shows, dig these bad boys up. We're gonna head back to camp and get set up. Whew. These things really wore me out. covered in sand, bucket full of clam. This is the start to a good night. This is a really cool activity. If you guys live anywhere in the world where you can go out and dig clams like this, it's really fun for kids. It's awesome just to go out and do, and especially this time of year in the winter when there's not a lot of really cool things to do. Come out here on the beach, enjoy the ocean, and get the bounty that it provides. It's gonna be a good night. Let's get back to camp and get things set up. All right, on the menu for tonight is one of my very, very favorite dinners of all when I'm at the beach. Halibut burgers, baby. What we're gonna be doing with this is I have a really nice chunk of halibut from Alaska. I actually caught this thing myself in a recent Addicted video. So if you guys haven't ever seen that one, go back over to Addicted Fishing is a YouTube page. It's my other channel and you can check that out and see how we caught this fish up in Alaska. So what I'm gonna do now, it's a big thick chunk, but I'm gonna make 2 burgers out of this, one for me and of course the camera guy's gotta eat, so. Bam. Yes. And I'm gonna go with a Cajun blackened seasoning on this. It's my favorite way to do it. I'm gonna go pretty heavy on it too because I'm gonna cook that stuff nice and hot. Get a nice little bed of oil going. And I wanna cook it pretty quick because it's easy to make this stuff too dry. So you wanna make sure to get a good sear on it right away and cook this fish itself pretty fast. And then it'll still have a lot of moisture. It'll make a mess out of you while you're eating it just like we all like it. Oh, that looks so good. Look at that, everyone. Perfect. Sounds like this is about ready. Ooh, indeed it is. But we're gonna ghetto toast the bun first. Have to. A big old lap of this. Just like that. Ooh, yeah. Check this out, everybody. That's a halibut burger at its finest right there. I'm gonna start off the onions, tomato, a lot of pickle. Lettuce is my favorite part of the sandwich, so we're going lots of lettuce. There it is. So you can really see what we're working with here. Oh, that turned out so good. Yummy. Let's take a bite. I got something on my face. I might have outdone myself, my fishy friends. That's an amazing burger. So we got our clams purging in some water overnight, like you just saw. We let those guys do their thing. Wake up in the morning, got to get a few ingredients, and then I really want to fish. Then we're gonna make one of the best clam chowders you've ever seen in your life. So stick around for that, and whatever adventure occurs tomorrow. Night, everybody. Well, we are not the only ones in this camp. We got no. We got a couple of coons. We got some coons. Little, just treat him. That one is a total field stud. Look at him. Look at him up there. They were coming for our food. They smelt the deliciousness that we were whipping up in camp tonight, or the dog food, I don't know which one, but we are being infiltrated by coons. Raccoons it is. What do you think? What do you think of those guys? Little's protecting this camp. He's making sure we're safe. He doesn't want us to be infiltrated by raccoons. They're trying to steal our delicious foods. Thank God for Little. Quite the camp protector this little guy is. Well, you can see here the damage done. They obviously like the big chewy nerds, like just as much as we do. They got into a little bit of the lettuce, which is fine because we already ate it. They tried to steal my quail eggs, but they weren't smart enough. But luckily, I covered up the clams. Because I'm sure this is what drew them in. Is the clams. The tasty morsels. Not today, raccoons. Not today. You can see the little footprints all over the place. We're walking along the edge here. You think you're smart, Mr. Raccoon, but we are smarter. Back to bed. Come on, little man. Let's go to bed. Come on. Come snug. Come snug, bug. There you go. Good boy. Thank goodness for the little dog. Good night. Good morning, everyone. That was a cold night. And I don't wanna... Didn't get a whole lot of sleep with the raccoon debauchery. Pretty worn out still. I think it's time for a hot cup of joe. What do you think, little? He's still on guard. It's gonna be a good day. Oh, I need coffee. Oh, that was one cold, miserable night. Whoever had the bright idea to camp in the wintertime at the beach was not a smart fella. That ought to do. Now all is right in the world. Good cup of joe. That'll warm a guy all the way to his soul. So, game plan for the day. I have a couple things that I really want to get done. One, we need to clean these clams and we need to get our chowder going. We're going to make the world's best clam chowder you've ever seen. That's a pretty bold statement, but the best one that I can make. We're going to make some chowder, dude, and we're going to make New England proud. The second thing I want to do is go fish off of the jetty or even off of this big rock point here. There's rock bass, there's lingcod, there's all kinds of different stuff that we can catch and ultimately cook. So I really want to get down to the jetty, fish off of it. But first things first, we need to clean our clams. We need to go to the store, get a few things for our recipe, and then we're going to hit the water and see what we can catch today. It's going to be a good day. All right, everybody, it's chowder time. I think what we're gonna do here, one thing I like to do on Stay Fishy is cook with beautiful scenery in the background. So I think what we're gonna do, we'll pack the table, pack all the ingredients over to the beach here with this beautiful view and get to cooking. Okay, step number one is cleaning the clams. And the way we're gonna do this is it's a process that's called blanching. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of the salt water here, just a skosh, basically about half a pot full. I'm gonna get that boiling, get it pretty hot, and then I'm gonna take each individual clam and just dip it in the water just for a second. And what that'll do is it'll allow the clam's shell to separate from the actual mussel itself, and I'll be able to get that thing out of that razor sharp shell and get it on the cutting board and clean the guts out, clean all the nasty stuff and the parts of the clam that you don't want to eat. So let's get this going. Let's start blanching. Okay, so while my water's getting hot, I'm gonna get the rest of my ingredients ready. And a clam chowder is a very simple recipe. It's very basic, kind of just the meat and potatoes of a soup. Basically exactly what it is. It's potatoes. I'm gonna put some corn in it. I'm gonna add a little dill, add a little onion, some garlic, and really you can kind of throw whatever you want in there. Sometimes I'll put some sweet potatoes in there or kind of mix it up, but it's a very simple recipe and it's very good. It basically comes down to the clams. You wanna have good clams to put in there and that really adds to the flavor. So I'm gonna go fairly small on my slices here so that they cook a little bit faster. And last but not least, the clams. So you can see we've left them in salt water that I got from the ocean last night. And I left them in salt water overnight so that they would purge out that sand. You can see that big base of sand in the bottom. A lot of that came from inside those clams because of course their habitat is in the sand and they're digging through the sand and digesting that right through their body. So they're nice and clean, nice and filtered, looking delicious. All right, my water is nice and hot now, so I'm gonna drop that guy in there and watch the magic happen. See that? Yep, shell opened right up. And it's a done deal. Remove that shell. Same here. So 5 clams should be enough for this recipe. I'm not making a huge portion, so I'm just gonna use 5 of them, take the rest of them home. Almost like magic. Just like so. Okay, this is actually not that complicated. It's pretty easy. I'm just gonna run that knife right through that part of the meat. Basically, so this is called the boot. This is what they dig with, and this is how they pull themselves down into the sand. And then they recycle all that sand and water through the top of their neck here. So what I'm gonna do is just simply rip that off. I like to lay this thing open just like so. Chop the top end of that off. And honestly, it's just simple enough to just rip it right out of there. And you want to make sure to get this little, I don't even know what it's called, but it's this little bead that's inside of them that you do not want to eat. So make sure that gets out of there. Toss her in back to Mother Nature. And we have beautiful, clean, pristine clam meat. Yum, yum. That is some beautiful meat. Oh my goodness. You know, it's times like these that brings to light how amazing it is to live an outdoor lifestyle and to be able to go out and harvest your own food and even for a short period of time be able to live off the land like this and enjoy the bounty that is out there and that the ocean provides and that rivers and mountains and everything provides for you. And it just makes the meal that much better. On the fire we go. Now, the second to last step is adding your broth. You can use chicken, you can use vegetable, you can use beef broth. I like to use a chicken broth so that it's not quite so wholesome in flavor. I want to get a lot of the flavor from the ingredients that I put in here, not so much from my broth that I'm adding. So in we go. If you're making a big pot, sometimes it'll take a couple cartons of this stuff, but this one should be perfect with just one. Oh, baby. Baby, baby. That looks amazing. Add a little bit of some homemade seasoning in there. I'm actually gonna use a plate here and cover this and just let it cook for, longer the better. That's the beauty of cooking a chowder like this is the longer this thing cooks, the more wholesome the flavor gets and the more you can pull those tastes and those flavors out of all your ingredients and really adds to the overall flavor of the broth and of the soup. So let's get our wind block back up and let magic happen. Well, I think what I'm gonna do for the sake of time is I'm gonna move this whole operation back into the trees, out of this beautiful view, and let this do its thing. And then I'm gonna grab my rod, go see if we can catch a fish. That ought to do it. And for a quick insurance policy, starting to smell pretty good back here. Got a rolling boil going for about, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. So I'm gonna test the tenderness of some of these ingredients. It's already done. But again, the theory is to let this cook a long time. This is a recipe that you want to let go and cook all day if you can. And it's even sometimes better left over, I must say. So now that most of the ingredients in there are already cooked now, I'm gonna add my heavy whipping cream. And this is where we're gonna get that creamy goodness. Ooh. Ah. Now for the finishing touches, everybody. You can use a cornstarch or flour for this. Another good trick with this is to put it in a base or in a broth, get it all whipped up, because what's gonna happen when I put it in here is that we're gonna get these little dumpling balls that are gonna form. So I'm gonna make sure to whisk it at the same time as I'm dumping. I'm gonna put about a half cup of flour in there, and that's gonna bring our thickness. And just whisk it, just whisking it, whisking the soup, whisking the soup. All right, time to go fishing. I'm gonna let this cook until the propane actually runs out. So let's go grab a rod, get out on the rocks, see if we can have some fun. Okay, everybody, so my idea here is to try and scale this cliff, basically, as crazy as that sounds, and get as far out into the ocean here as I can on this little bluff. And I'm sure there's got to be some fish out on the point of this thing. There's got to be some submerged rocks or something, some kind of structure that'll hold those fish. So it looks like it's scalable from the shore. It may not be. Yeah, it may not be. Wicked. Look at how cool this looks down in here. Such a crazy little crack in the rocks here. Wicked. Quite the root wad stuck in there. You imagine the waves and the force that it took to bounce that big thing all the way up in here. Pretty crazy. Well, it looks like my idea might not work unless I can time it just right when the waves go out and scale across over to that wall. I don't know, this stuff is pretty darn slick. It would not feel good to slip and fall down into that and onto these rocks. Well, that backfired in a hurry. I don't feel like hurting myself today as much as you all would probably love to laugh at me slipping and falling on these big boulders. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. There's other spots that we can fish, so, but it sure is beautiful. Look at this place. My favorite part of this camping spot in this area that we're in right now is definitely all these logs and all these old growth root wads that have washed up on the bank here, and all these big stumps. Each one of them has such a characteristic to it, and they're all so pretty in their own way. They almost look prehistoric in a way, don't they? Pretty wild. I love this one here. This little spruce tree. Wow, look at the burls on this one. How beautiful. I must say, that's one thing you guys will learn about me on these episodes, and as we continue to travel around and play in Mother Nature, I love big trees, I love fish, I love mountains and beautiful views, but most of all, I really like big trees. That is super cool. Wow. But I think I actually do love fish more, I have to say. Yeah, I love fish more. You know, I figured while we're over here, let's adventure back over into this little fairyland that I noticed. Some giant rocks, these big cliffs that are just jutting up out of the water and out of the earth right here on the edge of the ocean. It looks like there's some pretty cool little caves and stuff back in here, so let's check it out. Maybe we'll find some treasure. Wow. It is really neat back in here. It truly is like a mythical fairyland. There is a cave. There is a cave. Yeah. There is a cave. Let's go hang out in it. Whoa, no way. Check this thing out, everybody. How cool. I'm not really positive what kind of rock this is. It seems awfully brittle and kind of like, I don't know. I have no clue. Comment below on what you guys think. What kind of rock is this on the Washington coast? Wow. Might be losing light for you guys here, but that thing goes way back in there. Little freaky. Let's check it out. Oh wow, it goes way back in here, everybody. I don't know how well you can see this. Looks like people tracks and not animals, so that's good. Not gonna lie, it is a little freaky in here, everybody. Okay, it's just water. Whew, that scared the crap out of me. So neat. Looks like this is the end of it. What a cool place. There could totally be treasure in here. I bet at one point there was. I would hide my treasure in here. How about you guys? Well, that sure paid off. I'm definitely glad we checked that out. That is really neat. I'm definitely going to be coming back to that little cave. Maybe do a catch and cook in it. Now I'm guessing there's got to be more caves like that around here. Just the way this formation is, the characteristic of it, just a lot of overhanging rock, a lot of opportunity for washouts and, you know, areas that could be caves like that where big cracks in the ground that the earth has fallen away from that makes a cave. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but I think there'll be another cave. That's the point I'm trying to make. Wow. Look at this. Some rubble over here where this hillside has fallen away a few times. This could be a good spot to find some cool rocks. Not seeing much, but worth a look. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's a shell. Just a shell. Total psych out. That's what I saw. Total psych out. Alright, the exploration continues. I'm just going to keep following this hillside down and see if, again, I can find another cave. Or some cool rocks. A lot of potential for cool rock hounding opportunities in here. Now that's kind of wicked. Maybe a mushroom of some sort. I'll give you guys a closer look. What is that? It honestly does kind of look like some sort of fungus. I don't know. Nevertheless, I'm not going to disturb it. I'm not going to rip it off of there for no reason. This is so cool back here. What a neat little hike. Who knew? The left turn could get you into such a cool place. Just go outside one day and just take left turns all day, see where you get. It's one of my favorite games. I think I'm gonna take a right turn this time. What do you think, little? How's that for a view, everybody? Well, it seems I have 2 minutes left on my SD card here, so I'm gonna cross the threshold to the top here and show you this view before I head back and eat some soup. So cool. Yole-hee-hoo! Had to. Alright, now for the fun part. The descent. This is my favorite. We're gonna ski it. That's a sick line, everybody. So, really cool. Not quite sure what this is, but honestly, for where this is at, this little cove back in here, would not surprise me if this is like an old shipwreck. Look at these old bolts. Super neat. This thing has obviously been here forever. But you just look at how it's made. Look at the structure of it basically. You got the main beam and then the boards going across with the deck. I don't know. What do you guys think? I want to see some comments on what you think this is. Looks like an old washed up shipwreck to me. Cool. Super cool. Okay. It's time to chow some chowder. Now that looks like a good chowder. Dinner is served. Oh wow, look at the clams. Look at the clams. Oh my God. Get a load of the clams. I love how thick that got. And the key to that, I think, sometimes to get it that thick is to let it boil a long time, let it cook for a lot longer than you would normally. And that's just gonna thicken that stuff up. It's gonna break down some of those ingredients. Let's go sit by the ocean and enjoy this. Wow. What a great meal and a great place. And what a day. Oh, that turned out so good. That turned out so good. Look at the clam. I think the key to it too is having those fresh clams. The things were still wiggling when we cooked them. And they just melt in your mouth. This may be one of the best clam chowders I've ever made in my life. I love those chunks of clam too. Big old piece of garlic in there. Well, everybody, that is a wrap for this week's adventure. I want to thank you so much for tagging along this time. Till next time, you stay fishy. We'll see you out there.